Think about the last time you sat in the back seat, maybe in a cab or a ride-sharing car. Did you buckle up? If you just said no, you're not alone. Experts say too many of us are skipping the seatbelt in the back seat, risking deadly consequences. Here's WUSA9 reporter Whitney Wild.
1997, Princess Diana killed when her limo crashed in Paris. 2014, comedian Tracy Morgan nearly killed when a truck slammed into his car in New Jersey. 2015, CBS News reporter Bob Simon killed in a car wreck in New York City. These and thousands of other crash victims have one thing in common. They weren't wearing a seatbelt in the back seat. We all know that buckling up saves lives, so why are so few adults fastening their seatbelt? I hit the street to find out. Caught up in travel's hustle and chaos, the value of safety doesn't always click. You don't have a seatbelt on.
Oh, I'm gonna put it on right now.
Sir, you don't have your seatbelt on.
Oh, forgot.
You don't have a seatbelt on.
Is that standard in the back of a taxi?
Alongside the D.C. Department of For-Hire Vehicles, we spent just 1 hour at Union Station watching people climb into taxis and ride shares to find out if passengers are failing to fasten their seatbelt. No seatbelt. We'll see 2 people in the back of this cab. We'll see if they have seatbelts on. She doesn't have a seatbelt on. Over and over, passengers took off without a seatbelt.
It seems to be a bit of a cultural phenomenon.
Becca Wiest is a researcher at the nonprofit Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. According to a recent IIHS study, 91% of American adults buckle their seatbelt in the front seat, but just 72% report using a seatbelt in the back.
And the reasons that they provide are things like, the trip is short, so I'm not exposing myself to very much risk. Or we're traveling at slower speeds, so I don't have to worry about the risk. Or, and if you believe it, I got this response more than once, the driver is a professional, so I can trust them to drive safely.
Skipping the seatbelt puts the lives of everyone else at risk. Just take a look at chilling IIHS test run video. In an instant, the dummy is suspended in air, then slams into the front seat. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, in 2016, almost 2,500 people could have survived an accident if everyone in the vehicle had buckled up.
Your body becomes a projectile. We need to shift the culture and cultural attitudes about what's safe.
Wiest points out it's a long road to change. Let's take a trip down memory lane.
And almost certainly the most important invention in the whole history of traffic safety.
The modern lap and shoulder belt concept we use today was invented by Niels Bohlin, a Volvo engineer, in 1959. Volvo thought the innovation was so important they let other automakers use the design for free. But it wasn't until 31 years later, 1990, that federal law required car manufacturers to sell those seatbelts in the back side seats of most cars. Virginia has never adopted a law requiring buckling in the back. Maryland and D.C. made that mandatory in 1997.
Thank you.
Which brings us right back to Union Station, where even in the backseat of a rideshare like Uber and Lyft, an unbuckled passenger and the driver could face a $50 fine.
Are you an Uber or Lyft?
Yeah.
We're doing a story about passenger safety. Is your passenger buckled up?
About to be.
While Uber and Lyft drivers can get a ticket if adult passengers aren't buckled up in the back seat, in D.C. and Maryland, taxi drivers are exempt from that law. Whitney Wild, WUSA9.
Studies show women are more likely to use a seatbelt. We've got more statistics on this and the laws about seatbelt use and even more on our website and our WUSA9 app.